Hi, Ali.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here. You've been doing press all day, right?
Yes.
So you're a little loopy.
Bring it on.
Yeah. All day? Really?
Yeah, I was with, well, you were with Andy Cohen earlier, right?
Yes, who wasn't with Andy Cohen. But, yeah, I did a little radio.
Yeah.
But then my wife and I have been all touristy for a couple of days. We've just been wandering around the city and
Well,
yeah.
what have you been doing?
We went to Brooklyn yesterday. We've been eating lunch. Yeah, it was fantastic. And we rode bikes in Brooklyn and went to the museum. And
Really?
So, yeah, I let Debra do all the hard stuff.
I guess so. She's been up since 3. She was in Chicago for lunch and then in San
I was
Francisco.
in Chicago, then I
Got
was
back.
No, you're totally kidding.
It wouldn't surprise me.
So everybody watched the original Will and Grace. Yes. And of course, you watched the first season of Will and Grace 40 years later. All right, let's get into it. You guys, they rebooted you, and it's been incredibly successful, but other shows, which I won't mention in case I have to interview them up here, not so successful. Why? Chemistry?
We tweet fewer racist comments, I think, probably.
That's one thing.
That's our secret.
That's one
Yeah.
thing. I think part of it is because things have been volatile, we can say, in the last 2 years, and there's something, it's nostalgic, going back to a time when it's a happier time, a more peaceful time.
That's why the West Wing should probably get going.
Yes, for sure.
I think there's 3 ways to reboot something. You know, one is to take the same characters and see what they're doing now, and it can be vastly different.
Yeah.
Because the other one is just to completely replace them all, like Charmed or something like that. But what we did was literally just do the same show. And I
Right.
think that's what gave people such a kick.
Yeah.
The
But
show,
by the way, you
it
did
looks
the same show, but you also dealt with the fact that you are older, except for her.
Right.
You look the same. No, but like, you know, Sean trying to date and,
Right.
you know, not being able to keep up
Yep.
with the youngins. And, you know, so that actually was great because you guys kind of said, no, we know we're older, except for her.
Yeah.
And
That
no,
was
we're
really,
willing to.
that was important to
It
all
was
of us.
important.
And it also seemed like a really great opportunity because you don't see that on primetime television. You really get to explore what happens when you age. And
Are you allowed to age in Hollywood? Because I heard you weren't. which is
usually
why I
not,
laughed.
but
Yeah.
you know, when we came back,
Contractually.
now we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, Grace is past the age of being able to bear children. You know, so that was like a big
You
deal.
said it.
You know?
Yeah, no, I know.
And I loved that. I loved,
It's great.
you know, that there was an episode last season that, you know, basically had her saying, this was my choice and I love my life. And you know?
Well, you know, whereas if we go for 16 seasons, Will can still adopt. So it's right. So we always have that.
That's right.
But
That's right.
with his hot boyfriend.
That's right.
But what I love about the age part of it is that, you know, when we first did the show, it wasn't long before people were saying, how long are these people going to live together before they get laid and get married? And I feel like we did. But we both went off. The characters
Right.
had marriages, they had love, and they lost. And now I feel like the idea that 2 friends can come back together
Yeah.
in their late 40s is cool. It's not pathetic to me. It's a new story of this. There, you can go home again.
No, and we were, I'm a big Will and Grace fan, even before she forced me to be friends. And you guys ended it originally with meeting up again. You had a falling out because of the baby thing, and then you met up again at NYU while both of you were helping move your kids in. But they scratched that. I mean,
Yeah.
we forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, that was a big deal. I mean, we all were like, do we have kids? Like, what's going to happen?
Because
and
then you'd have 2, you know, teenage actors on the show.
Well, yeah, and those actors. I mean, that was one of my favorite things about the ending of the show was the scene, which I imagine most of you saw, where you think what you're seeing is a flashback to Will and Grace meeting in college, and in fact, when they introduce themselves to each other, it's the kids' names that we've established for these babies, and the gasp from the studio audience was so great. I thought this is a great way to, but then cut to 11 years later, do we want to tell that story of us having teenage kids? I don't know. I mean,
David Cohan said it. He's one of the co-creators.
With Max Muchnick.
With Max Muchnick.
Which is the greatest name in the world.
Isn't it?
Max Muchnick.
And basically, what it came down to was they said, if we have children on the show, the whole show will be about Will and Grace being parents. And then if we don't have them around, then it will be about Will and Grace being bad parents. And either one of those, people just want to see the four of us,
But you're also
back
parents
together again.
we're parents to Karen and Jack.
To Karen and
so.
Jack.
Yes, that's right.
And bad parents
And
at that. So
they're bad children.
Horrible children. Before we get into the political stuff, because you guys really went right into that in the first episode, let me tell you something about you. Yes. I'm oddly attractive. No. You're the only actor on TV that men and women both want to date. That is absolutely true. Every gay male friend I have is like, I'm going to date Eric McCormack.
Yes!
I don't think you are.
That's
Married
awesome.
to a lovely woman here tonight.
Everyone wants to sleep with you.
And every woman, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. But
So what am I doing sitting here?
I don't know. Let's get it on.
I'll never get this hour back.
But I'm saying you never got any pushback because you aren't actually gay. You might be fluid. I'm not going to put any pronouns in your mouth.
At this age, I'm a little fluid, yes, but you know what? It comes up a lot now, because now would a network cast a straight guy in a gay role? Probably less likely. So I'm grateful that I'm as old as I am. I'm grateful for 1998. But I also think that at the time, the network was nervous, and it didn't hurt that there was for lack of a better word, a straight ambassador to this new idea that two guys could both be gay and be leads on a show. All four of us are gay. I mean, that's the gay.
She's
show.
so gay.
She's so gay. But
You ever kissed her?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I have.
Not like
and on the show too.
Yes. By the way, when you guys have to kiss, do you ever mint up? Do you have like a rule that, because she eats like avocados and weird stuff. Or you have to have a mint before you do those scenes?
We haven't had a kissing scene in a long time.
In about 15 years.
Yeah.
But you kiss dudes.
I kiss dudes.
Yeah.
And
Do you do the mint
Do you
thing?
mint up?
Sure, sure
Yeah.
you do.
I brush my teeth. I don't mint up.
When you used to jump on hair tonic.
I kissed like 75 men in that first run. Those were
Pretty
those
good.
were the wonder years.
I
Yes.
kissed too.
But that's going to change now.
Yeah, I got laid a lot last year.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And you kissed Bobby Cannavale.
Just kissed Bobby. Who wouldn't kiss Bobby Cannavale? But last year, Will was constantly with Broadway guys. It was Ben Platt
Oh,
and
God,
Andrew
which was so
Rannells
great.
and Cheyenne Jackson. It was great.
Well, the Ben Platt episode was another perfect episode about the fact that you had aged, and he was.
And that's one of what the fun part of coming back. Max Muchnick really was the driving force to make this happen, and a lot of it was because he spent 10 years seeing things happening in society, going, "Oh, I don't have my four characters to comment on this." And one of them, as a very successful gay man with kids, he simply wanted to talk about that age difference, that silver fox versus the young, and the millennials that take it for granted that they can sleep with whoever they want and it's all fine. And so that was great to see him. That was more than overt political stuff. I love when the show tackles that kind of thing.
And it was spot on when he comes in and kisses you, and then his best friend is on the phone.
And that was his real best friend, by the way, in real life.
Yeah.
Was it really?
That was Ben Platt's real best friend.
See,
in
I
real
feel
time.
like you have a 16-year-old. I have a 16-year-old. You how old?
14.
14. I mean,
Going on
that's
40.
how they're going to date. Really, that's how they're going to date. They're going to have the phone down there, and everyone's going to be like, go, go, go. After they get consent.
Sure.
It's a different world.
And then they'll go for job interviews and it'll be like, "We have the go, go, go tape here."
You're hired.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your, not your guest stars yet, but let's play a little game. If you could cast somebody as a love interest, who would it be?
As a love interest.
Yeah. Easy, Deb.
I think
I can't. I live in New York.
I think the first image that comes to mind is Robert Downey Jr.
Oh.
Interesting.
Because he's really funny, but he's also edgy.
Yeah.
And I think that, Woody Harrelson, people really, really liked him. And I think that they have like a similar kind of, I think the kind of comedy, I think it would be sexy funny.
Robert Downey for you too?
Sure, I'd take that.
Yeah?
I've been saying for a while that I think that Will needs a secret Canadian lover.
Oh.
And that it turns out to be Justin Trudeau.
Oh.
It's the best idea ever.
Oh God, that would be a ratings coup.
Yeah.
Sweeps.
You want political? Here's political. I'm sleeping with the Prime Minister.
That'd be so good.
It'd be so good, right?
Can't you just say you're sleeping with him, but we don't actually see him?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You guys do that a lot.
I'm sure they've got that joke standing by at any time.
I have to say, I told this last time when I was with Debra here. I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I had my 3-year-old in bed with me, and we were watching TV. And not to get too detailed, but I had a hyperemesis, so I threw up a lot, like Kate Middleton. And so all I did was watch TV, and we were watching Will and Grace. And you and Sean walk into a bar in Vermont, and the bartender says, "What can I get you?" And you both go, "George Stephanopoulos." And my 3-year-old daughter, why do they want Daddy?
Wow.
You know how Daddy spins for the president? They need some historical fact. They want to sleep with him. Everybody wants to sleep with their father. But anyway, so Will and Grace had a big impact that way.
I think you need to go back to therapy.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Especially after this week. So the first episode of this new rebooted season, you guys went right into politics. Yeah, no holds bar.
Right into the White House.
Right into the White House. Did anybody have any nervousness about that? I know that you're very active politically.
Yeah.
But did anybody go, "Oh God, maybe we shouldn't," or are we getting too political? Was there any pushback with that, or did you all just dive
My
in?
only nervousness was just that as a sitcom, we can't be instant. It'll be 6 weeks before we're on
Right.
the air with an episode that may be dated as hell by the time it airs because everything is so, 4 awful things happen a day. So,
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, if we did this interview 2 hours from now, everything we're talking about is irrelevant.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
But you
No,
guys,
I think-
everybody was game.
I think that Megan was a little bit more nervous about being too political.
well, that's an amazing tool we have in this Karen Walker character in that she is, on paper, hateful.
Yeah.
But she's played by Megan Mullally, so you get this incredibly...
Yeah.
We just did an episode where Jack and I go to Texas to visit his grandson, and she comes with us because she wants to see the part of the wall that she bought.
And she paid extras for it to be electrified.
Yeah, she paid, yeah. So,
It's so good.
and I still have women coming up to me going, "I just want to be like Karen." I'm like, "You really do?"
She's an awful person.
Awful person.
Yeah, but she gets to say all the
She
stuff.
gets to say all
and
that
so
stuff.
we get to have that voice. Otherwise, we're just, 4 characters spouting the same stuff. But the fact that, and I think that's what sparked this reboot was this 10-minute video that we did for Hillary. I want to say voting for Hillary. But the clever part of that was to have this sort of combination of you and I virtually on the same page,
Right.
And her entirely the other side, but Jack being that kind of undecided, ill-informed,
Someone who's like, "I'm not going to vote."
right.
It's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, and so to be able to show all 3 sides was in 10 minutes. was
Incredible.
Yeah.
And you're not very vocal about your politics the way she is.
I retweet everything she says. No, I 100% am. Ask my wife. 2 drinks at a party, and I'll be screaming at somebody.
Yeah.
But But I do get nervous about it as a parent. I'm nervous about Twitter. I'm nervous about communicating that way all the time. She is so much braver and you're just a great spokesperson for all of us. But I am more reticent. It's becoming a very scary
Listen,
world.
I think social media is the end of civilization, but that's for another.
But I will, like for instance, I will say, I will absolutely say something, about the president, but I won't include his because I don't need the lunatics that follow him following me to threaten my family. I mean, that's where we're at.
But also, I just wonder, as celebrities, as very public people, do you worry about, for your own safety, do you worry about people coming after you in a hostile way besides the usual, besides me and my mom just answering you?
I mean, I might be naive, but I haven't been concerned about my physical safety at this point. The hate that I get is pretty intense online, but I've come to terms with that.
But you get you're pretty too, right?
I get I'm pretty
so it
sometimes.
balances itself.
But then, as some of you may know, Susan Sarandon and I got into, a disagreement. It happens.
She's actually here. Susan!
Come on out.
And so that became a bigger thing than I think it's safe to say either one of us probably wanted it to become. And I feel like it was distracting from, what was really important to be discussing at the time. So I think as long as I can, post things from people who are much smarter than me, that I think is illuminating or, educational, I feel okay about it, as long as it doesn't become about me.
Right.
Good answer.
Speaking of politics, when you guys first did Will and Grace, and it was a big hit, and it was the 90s, you got Porsches. Have you gotten anything this
Zero. Nothing. Jack.
Yeah.
But you're grateful.
I'm so grateful. No, but I mean, come on, we've got to put it into context. It was our second season, and it was absolutely insane that we got this Porsche. But at the time, NBC was giving cars to every show that was doing really well for them, because they were making billions of dollars. So they were like, okay, we're going to give you this thing, and it blew our minds. And
it blew our minds.
Sean sold his within 6 weeks. And
Because he didn't like the radio. He said it was tinny.
yeah, but
That's true.
and then Megan soon after sold hers, and he and I had ours for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Because
Did you drive them?
yes, of course. I was like, it's a car. I mean, I was.
You're friends with Enrico Colantoni.
Yes.
So Enrico was on Just
he's
Shoot
so
Me at the
pissed.
time, and he just did the other show that I do, Travelers, and we were talking about. He said, "Do you remember when you?" I said, "Of course I remember." He said, "Yeah." So you guys got Porsches. And that same day, NBC sent us a coffee truck.
But by the way, and Debra knows this, when you guys were getting Porsches, I was in my Ford Fiesta changing into a hooker outfit for my next audition in the Valley. And I remember reading the Hollywood Reporter, and I was like, oh, not only are they on a hit show and they're making millions of dollars, here's some Porsches. Good for you.
It's embarrassing.
It should be embarrassing.
It was a crazy time.
So would you get an edible bouquet the first time you with the reboot? Anything? Nothing?
I actually, yes.
What did we get?
We did get the studio sent an edible bouquet last week. Yeah, they really did.
Oh.
See, I didn't even get
Delicious.
that.
So don't say you don't get anything.
I didn't even get that.
Well, you don't eat pineapple, do you?
There's other things.
Okay, I don't know. I've never gotten one. Again, I never got a Porsche
I can eat
or
melon.
an edible.
I can eat melon.
Okay. You get a melon ball bouquet. We do have to talk for a second about the guest stars coming up, because it's exciting for us. I know David Schwimmer, I can say that because I've been reading about
Yes.
Who is a recurring love interest for you?
He is indeed. He is, and he will be. Yep. And he'll be on the season premiere this Thursday night. He's in the first episode.
Yeah.
Will it end well?
I don't know. We're still
good.
in the
Okay.
middle of it. I
Okay.
mean, we're still in the midst of it. But it's really great to have him there. He fits in really well, I feel.
awesome.
Well, he's used to working with a group.
Yes.
But what's fun is that he hasn't done a
14
sitcom
years?
since Friends ended.
Really?
14
Not even a
years.
guest star. So it's fun to see him in our element.
Yes.
But know that he was creating that element 4 years before we even got it. So
Yeah.
he's just great to have there.
Is he?
Yeah.
What about you? Is there a love interest?
I'm great to have there. I think
I think
everyone.
you're fantastic.
Everyone enjoys me. Will becomes a teacher this season, so I know there's going to be a love interest at school eventually.
A student?
Maybe.
Interesting.
Might be my TA.
Oh!
Might be a little TNA with the TA. Possibly.
Sexual harassment. There's so
Oh,
many ways to go.
Oh, it's going to be hilarious. Has there been anything yet? Oh, yeah, there was. Yes, Matt Bomer.
My God.
Is he a love interest?
Well,
was, yeah.
It was
So
supposed to be a
gorgeous.
one-off, and he plays this pompous newscaster that.
So gorgeous. It's
But he was so good and so funny in the course of
right?
the week that before we even started to shoot the show on shoot day, we decided to change the ending because we had to have him back. So he'll come back.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And because Patrick Dempsey was also, I thought, a great love interest for
Yeah.
you.
That was a really fun one.
Oh.
Did
Yeah.
he mint up?
I don't think I had a kiss with Patrick Dempsey. I had a crazy kiss with Taye Diggs. Yeah.
He's hot.
so
Yeah,
hot.
he's minty from top to bottom.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
One big.
Was that the Sound of Music episode?
It started with that. He did
Yeah.
2 or 3, but then he and I actually
Started dating.
You,
What?
you made out in your dressing room just to practice.
exactly.
Yes.
I'm not nuts, and I loved Rent and but he. No, we actually had a commitment ceremony. Like we, as close as we could in 2005.
Yeah.
Will and Taye's
Yes.
character got married, and Hall & Oates sang
That's right.
at our wedding.
That's right.
But by that point, nobody was paying any attention to the show anymore. I just made out with Taye Diggs on national television, and
Yeah.
like no one's, which was I think is part of the legacy of the show is that nobody mentioned it, and that's pretty awesome.
That's
that
right.
That,
That is right.
That
That's good.
13 years ago, it didn't become something.
And you had done that episode where you made out with Sean
On the Today Show.
The Today Show, which was a way of dealing with it in an even kind of bigger, greater way, I thought.
Yeah, except he's garlic. He's just nothing. He doesn't.
Sean?
Yeah.
Sean looks a little gargonzola-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to kiss him anymore. Now, is Beverly coming back?
Beverly
Beverly
Leslie.
Leslie.
Yes!
Yes.
my
He was
favorite.
back last episode.
He's the little,
Leslie Jordan is the actor's name.
Sorry.
And he is for no, but
Beverly is
and he
Beverly.
is,
He is amazing.
he is,
her friend / nemesis, Karen's.
Yes.
But
you know,
he
the
is-
one that always talks like this.
Southern. Yep, that's right.
Has a boyfriend named Benji.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
Well.
He's,
If it isn't Karen Walker.
so she's this is from the other night. She's standing at her section of the wall in Texas, and he shows up with his and I think his first line was, "I thought they canceled Walker, Texas Rangers."
oh, God.
She was in a cowboy hat.
You guys have, I assume, like 14 to 16 writers or something like that, right?
About 12.
12.
12, I think.
Oh, 12.
Yeah.
So how much do you guys offer when you're rehearsing? Nothing?
Story-wise, I think we're more.
Yeah, we rarely pitch
We don't pitch jokes.
jokes,
No.
but we will show them. We will quickly rehearse with our brilliant director Jim Burrows and show them what we got. But like within hours, we'll say by 1 o'clock we'll show them, and they're so great that usually they can see what's not working. But once in a while we'll.
But you
Yeah.
guys add, I mean, Will and Grace has so much physical comedy in it that you guys must add that.
Yeah,
You
that-
must.
That part we find.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when you and Sean were dancing to Madonna last season,
I just follow what Sean does, so that's.
it's just so, it's so good. And when you know, in the old days when you and Sean danced to Britney Spears.
Britney Spears, yes.
Yeah, I mean, but even the way you walk and talk and fall, I mean, it's so
Well,
good.
the episode, I think it was the second one last year, where you and Karen were in the shower,
shower.
that filled up, which was a,
So good.
Shower.
that was a total homage to like a matching scene from I Love Lucy, but they couldn't really rehearse the moves
No.
until they shot it, which was the day before. So all the stuff you guys came up with while doing the scene.
We were just in there for 3.5 hours,
Yeah.
and they were like, okay, just go, just keep going, just keep going. Like,
Was the water warm?
It was warm.
Yeah.
I asked.
Did you pee in it?
I did not pee in it. I did not pee in it.
No, but there you're when you're underwater and she's got her shoe on your head.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
And what about Minnie Driver? Will we
Oh,
need
yeah.
jewelry
Yeah.
falling out of her hoo-ha this season?
Minnie's back, and I think we referenced some time ago her working at a strip club, and so that's where
That's where we meet her again.
Yeah.
That I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
last,
Blythe Danner will be back.
My wife Blythe's back as my mom.
Oh, God,
Alec Baldwin's back.
so all the greatest hits.
A lot
But
of
then
guys.
also Chelsea Handler is coming on.
Now, I don't want to give anything away. She is in a relationship with Mary McCormack, who plays your sister.
It happens during the course of
Okay.
the episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, you didn't give anything away.
Everybody just sign this release. Can everybody just sign this release?
I don't know if you've seen Citizen Kane, and I don't want to give anything away.
It was on a press release.
I know.
I'm doing my
It was?
Oh, it's
homework.
NBC. NBC.
They just tell you everything
just,
ahead of time. Like there's no surprises.
You die in episode 6.
Yeah.
But I come back.
Yes, you come back. My hair iconic, is he going to come back at all? Or is that tired?
It's not tired.
I'd like Harry to come back as my love interest. That'd piss Grace off.
Or
I
if
love
Beverly
Harry
walks
so much.
in. Well.
Yeah. I think that, I think he will always be her true love.
Yeah.
So I think at any point, they could bring him back and, tease it.
There is a funny thing. We're good friends with Mariska Hargitay, and Harry was on SVU. And when you see Debra and Mariska go into a Puerto Rican dogfight about who had a more intense love story with Harry
There's no
Connick.
question I had the better love story than
Yeah.
Mariska. There's
Yeah.
no question.
Well, you kissed a lot more.
I got a lot of kissing
Yeah.
in on that.
She had to talk a lot of cop talk.
That's
when you
right.
were, like, straddling
She just
Harry
had like the
Connick.
little peck in the morning post-coital,
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, that's why I always assumed the night before taping you were like, shh, shh, they make out. They make out. Not a lot of dialogue. And so in terms of the writing, you guys know what, an episode ahead of what's going to happen? How far do they tell you? Not even
No.
that?
No, I don't.
Table read
Yeah.
is the first time?
Yes.
I think Sean will often go up and yak with the writers, but Deb and I are kind of the same. I used to get off on not having any idea, and we'd shoot a show on a Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning I'd go to the mailbox, and there was a script, and I was as surprised as Will was
Yeah.
by what was about to happen to him. And I love that.
I
still
do
love
too. Yeah, I have no idea.
This is a really cringy question, but I really want to know how much these characters are you. I know it's always a standard question, but seriously, I know you very well, and I know the character. So if you need me to answer for you,
Yes, I would like you
Eric?
to answer. Let
what
Eric.
about you?
Aside from the sodomy,
Why aside?
no, you know what? The truth is that Will is very much my id. I don't have to. There's no amping up. I mean,
Right.
that's me.
Yeah.
It really is more me. I have to. Like I was saying, I do this other show on Netflix where it is called called Travelers, and somebody asked me what's the difference between the two characters besides the obvious one.
Right.
One's a sci-fi drama, but I said. For Travelers, for this character McLaren, I simply have to sit on all of my energy, my natural energy, and for Will, I just get to let it out,
Yeah.
and that's why the show is so.
Are you a
fun
neat
for me.
freak? like Will?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I do. I probably
Anal?
I iron as much as
You really iron?
I do.
Where's Janet?
Where's your wife?
Yeah, my wife's nodding her head off.
Janet, do you ever iron, or do you give it to him?
I
Oh my God, you're the best husband ever.
So he irons and he dresses really well, and not once did you go, I wonder if maybe. It doesn't matter. You know what? It's actually better this way. All right, so that's your.
Am I
yeah,
Grace?
Yeah. What, are you Grace?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I think you're actually more grounded than Grace. I think you're, in some ways, smarter than Grace.
Well, that's for sure.
Definitely more political, more savvy than Grace. You are. Let's see. Grace
plus-
dresses a lot better than you.
Much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
I always look like a homeless woman. Whenever I'm not working, I look like and I never wear, I look like a
I
black-
know.
I know, sorry. I offend her sometimes.
You can't offend me. I'm the
But-
poop that the homeless woman.
But Grace and I are both klutzy.
You're klutzy.
Yeah.
You get the joke. You both get the joke in the
Yes.
same way.
Yeah.
You're both game.
Yes. Yeah. We're both single.
I know.
Anybody?
Any takers?
Oh my God! Please, somebody take her.
Anybody,
Oh,
really.
he went like this.
Really? Are you straight though?
Yes.
See, that was mean, and you're bald too. I find that hot. Yeah.
But that's how you and Grace are very much the same.
We're both losers.
No, you're attracted to gay men. We all are. I get it. You're married. Megan's married.
Yep.
Yep.
Sean is married?
Yes,
he
I'm
is.
the only
Oh,
single
ouch.
person.
I feel like they all have a lot of friends. Can't we start casting love interests as love interests?
I mean, I feel like, why can't I do like the Tom Cruise thing?
Oh, who said that? She's like, I was number 7. No, don't do that. I didn't win. No, you don't need to do that. It'll happen naturally.
Someone, your alarm.
Yes.
It's going off.
Oh, it's Nancy Jarecki's.
It is. No, it's in front
it's
of
not.
Nancy Jarecki. Is it an emergency? I see. Help her.
It's not me. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay.
The riffraff.
Let's talk about working in front of a live audience. How fun is that?
The best.
It feeds you, doesn't it?
It's the best.
And it was always frustrating to me that people didn't believe that we do. They would talk about a laugh track. I said, we really
don't have
250 people.
Yeah.
We don't have a laugh track.
I mean, it's
They're laughing.
they're laughing and
I think it sounds like a laugh track because the real laughs go on for so long that they have to cut them. And so when they cut
Yeah,
it,
sometimes.
that makes it sound like, none of it's real. But it's real.
And what's been fun with this reboot is that there are people seeing this show who weren't even born when we started, and they never thought they'd see the four of us
Don't say that.
do this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's true. And it is really cool. I'm sure
She
there
just lost
are,
the gay guy.
but that has been an amazing thing for me.
Yeah.
Is realizing that there are 3 generations watching this right now.
Yeah.
That, that the women would come up to us in the first season and go, "Oh my God, I love that new show you're on." They were mothers at the time. Now they're grandmothers. Their grandchildren are watching it with them.
Yeah.
Still going.
That's kind of incredible.
Still going, right?
What?
On how old we are?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
My
that's all right.
great-grandchildren are just... No, but I have a 13-year-old that watched, last season for the first
Yeah.
time because she knows Debra, and now she's gone back on Hulu or Netflix and started, binge watching, and she's like, "Have you seen Will and Grace? It's so funny, Mom." I go, "Back when they were talkies, honey, we watched." But
No,
how
but
much?
in front of the audience, it really does feed us, and it really is a dialogue just like theater, any theater, because you don't know what's going to land. Often things that we think are hilarious during the week, it'll get a Midland laugh and things that, like, I mean, your Star is Born joke. I mean, literally the entire week, like, he was like playing, chaps for it. What is it? Taps.
I just kept thinking that because you guys weren't laughing, the writers weren't laughing at their own joke.
And he's like, this is gonna die. And we're like, nope, it's gonna land, it's gonna land. And literally the first time he said it, the place, like people were, like urine was like coming down because people were laughing so hard. And we looked at him like, look, it worked.
But it's a living, breathing thing, and it's our writers, this is not true of all sitcom writers, but our writers are so game to rewrite on the spot.
Yeah.
Something doesn't work, or if it worked, a treat, let's do it even better, let's find something else. Because they want the audience to be engaged, and they're just on fire.
How long is it?
And that's
taping?
what,
4 hours?
4 or 5 hours. I mean, and that was the thing about David Schwimmer, was that he came on that first episode and they were like, okay, we did it one time, and he came out, they're like, okay, cut this, this is your new line, your new line joke. And David was like, what? And he was like, does someone have a pen, a pencil? And we were like, oh no, you got this. He goes, no, I need a pencil. And I turned to Jim Burrows, because Jim Burrows, he directed the first episode of Friends also. And I was like, well, didn't they do it like this? And Jimmy was like, nobody does it like this. And I didn't realize that. I thought that everyone had writers who just kept rewriting on the spot.
And how much does a live audience get, like, more than a TV audience?
A lot.
For instance, do you guys go and talk to them? Do you joke around? Do you?
He's saying, a la Queen out in the audience just like 3 days ago.
A la Queen?
I occasionally get into my full Freddie Mercury.
Freddie
and I
Mercury,
do a
head
song,
top to
so.
bottom, Freddie Mercury, and was like singing and gyrating.
Your wife has left you. You could have told us yourself.
Honey, that's not really a question. So, but if you could put it in the form of
dinner
a
after.
question.
Okay, we're taking audience questions.
Okay.
Michelle and Andrea want to know, what is your favorite episode, original and new?
My favorite episode is the exploding water bra. I think that was the episode where I got to be, it was the most broad, and it felt very classic. I Love Lucy. Yeah, so I think that was.
And you got to have big boobies.
Finally.
Yeah.
But I also love the fact that the moral of the story was that I was cuter without big boobs.
Yes. Aha.
True. That was an awesome one. I always have two answers for this because I loved the scene. My favorite scene we ever did, and we've talked about this before, but is the scene where Will and Grace have a huge argument because she's decided to go with Harry Connick and we're not going to have a baby together.
That was so painful to watch.
And it was I think my favorite
Me too.
thing I've done in my career is that scene. Because we only rehearsed it a couple of times, and then Jimmy said, leave it alone, let's not touch it. We didn't even show the crew, I don't think. He said, they'll be standing there, that's it. And then the night of...
If you don't know Jimmy Burrows, is that how we talk?
That's how we talk.
Always talks like that.
Yeah.
I told you the story that I told Jimmy I'd auditioned for the role of Ross on Friends, and when I finally started doing Will and Grace, I said, Jimmy, I auditioned you. I got pretty close to getting Ross, and he said, honey, you were wasting your time. He said, they wrote the part for Schwimmer. but I just love Jimmy is someone that we strive to please, and that night we did that scene, and we didn't make a mistake.
Nope.
And the couple of laughs were there, but mostly it was serious.
It was
and
quiet.
You said we got to the end. It was you could hear a pin drop, and you said, "Go to hell, Will," and I said, you don't live here anymore. And we exited our different exits, and there was just silence. And in the silence, I could hear Jimmy Burrows' voice go, beautiful. God. And it was just my favorite moment, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
20 years.
I remember that scene so well.
And we only did that one take.
One day. No,
Yeah.
Ugh. Are there any topics that you ask the writers to cover
That's a good one.
besides the kissing for Eric?
When we started last year, the only thing that I requested was to make Grace a feminist. That was my only request.
No.
I felt like it was character specific. I felt like it made sense that she would grow into her voice, and because of the life choices that she had made, I just felt like I wanted her to be celebrating where her life was.
Might Grace have any kind of a political career later on?
It's funny you say that.
Is it?
Because Grace enters politics this season.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Why are you asking questions you know the answer to?
I'm not asking them, I'm titillating the audience.
Oh. Consider yourself titillated.
I didn't know, I don't know any of the details. I just know that you run for something, and I think I saw a photo in one of the magazines where it's Grace Adler for something.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I did my research.
Yes.
Sean Hayes produces a lot of shows. Do either of you want to direct or produce?
Well, both.
I do both.
Okay.
On Travelers.
I didn't ask this.
And
Someone out there asked it.
Yeah, no, I did a show for 3 years called Perception that I was a producer on and a director once. Thank you very much. And now on Travelers, I produce and I directed the season premiere. It comes out in December.
Would you direct an episode of Will and Grace?
I hope not.
Why?
And I'll
Because
tell you
of
why.
Jimmy?
Because
Yeah.
he's directed every single one of 218 episodes.
Yeah.
And I hope that is always the case.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a continuity to the show, not just with Jimmy, but with every one of our designers has been there from the beginning.
Yeah.
I hope nothing changes for as long as we go. That's mine.
Do you feel lucky?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
No,
it's been a
feel
miracle.
like
I mean,
cutting
it
you, I'm
literally
so
is
envious.
a miracle
Yeah.
that we've been given this second go round. I mean, it's never happened.
But second go around where it's just so successful, not once, but twice.
Yeah.
And you love what you do.
Yeah.
I think also, to me, it's felt a little bit like if you love something, set it free. I think the idea that we went away for 11 years, and we really did. Like,
Yeah.
Friends didn't. It seemed like it was always on all the time. But we kind of disappeared
Yeah.
for about 6-7 years. We were not in syndication in a way that you
Yeah.
could find us. We weren't streaming till very recently on Hulu.
Yeah.
And so I think it gave everybody a chance to miss us. And
We did.
So that was
did
that was
miss
just nice.
you.
So.
But now's enough. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, enough already.
No. I want you to go forever. How much input do you have in your character's development? Do you ever fight? Do you ever say, like, there's no way Will's going to do this, there's no way Grace is going to do this?
Well, you and Schwimmer have had a really interesting dialogue with the writers.
We
in
have.
terms of what certain moments could take them down this road, and you guys have fought for this road. It's really
Yeah, especially just this last episode. We were in a situation where, everything was building beautifully, and then the last scene just did not work. And the writers were like, this works. And David and I were like, and we kept waiting, and they kept rewriting it, and then all of a sudden it was basically, we had to lock it in, and it wasn't even close to being right, according to David and I. And, we were there in front of the network, and we were like, okay, look, as actors, we can't make this work. We can do it, and if you tell us to do it, we will do it. But as artists, it makes no sense to us. And I think that sort of appeal made them listen. And then we were able to make our case. And they totally rewrote it, and it worked. And I think that all of us were grateful for, the process of being able to speak our mind and being heard. And, it's not something that happens all the time, but it's always been a democratic place. It's always been the best idea wins, always. And it doesn't matter where it comes from.
And we owe that to Jimmy too, because you and I naturally from the first episode were piping up, going, when we say this, when we say, not writing lines as much as just creating the relationship.
We were trying to discover these characters.
Yeah, and trying to just have a discussion. And unbeknownst to us, the writers were looking at each other like, why are the actors talking? Why? And it was Burroughs that took them aside, as we later discovered, and said, "You have 4 very smart actors here. Listen to them." So that was, I love that.
Are you going to do a live show this season?
I don't think so.
We haven't heard about Alive.
Oh, it's good when you guys do a live show.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun.
When you crack up.
I think it's a logistical nightmare for the network.
Yeah.
Plus, Deborah would have to remember all of her lines.
And
It's a
that's-
lot.
Aye.
It's a lot.
Aye. Has anyone ever missed a show? Anyone been sick?
Well, Deb was like in the last stages of pregnancy, so we had to do about 3 episodes
Without me.
Without you.
Yeah. And leading up to it, you just hid behind big pieces of furniture.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
We did a lot of eating jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was the only time the 4 of us were not in the same, like, people have gotten sick and we've had to, do scenes later on. Like Sean was sick for a little while, and so, we moved the shoot, couple of weeks later, and they picked up a scene or 2. Right. But it's never gone to air.
Right.
Without the 4 of us, except when I was giving birth.
And so do you ever take any time off?
No.
I'm not very good at it.
You're not.
Right, honey?
She left.
She
Not
left,
there
sorry.
anymore.
She's taking some time off. No, I'm really, you can imagine how much ironing I do if I have a week off. I
you're
don't
that
have,
guy.
I don't have enough hobbies, yeah.
Yeah. So you
I'm-
like to work.
I like to work.
Okay. And you?
I hate to work.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. And my agents hate me for it because, it ends, and then I'm the only one in the cast who's a New Yorker. And I'm also a single mother. So my son, yes to single moms.
You're not a single mother. You're a man.
But he's supporting the single moms, and we love men who support the single moms.
I'm a straight white guy.
And that just woo! Just sit back. Especially
That
this
never
week.
works. That's weird.
Just don't speak. But yeah. So when it ends, I'm very anxious to get back to my son and to sort of
Your friends.
and my friends who I've missed terribly. And then when I work, I just really try to negotiate everything being really, really concentrated if I can. And if I can't, then I say no.
Will, does Deborah bring her dog Henry to set?
I love when you call me Will.
I mean, Eric.
It means I'm doing my job right.
It is.
Henry's been to set. I've never brought my dogs because they would not.
Are they big,
would not
ferocious
do well. No, they're
Rottweilers?
just nervous.
Oh.
They're just nervous.
No, he hasn't been in this whole season.
Oh.
Yeah. He stays home.
Okay, it's a running joke, but can Grace, Deborah really sing?
I think it depends on the person who is listening to Deborah sing.
Yeah.
Do you think you can sing, Deborah?
I think I can sing. Look.
Show them.
All right. I sang in Dirty Dancing, this little movie I did just 2 years ago, and I sang a solo, and I think it was wonderful. And it's on the album, and so you could go home and you can listen and you can suck it.
No, I know you can sing. But on Will and Grace, you
Oh no.
do it in a comedic way?
No, I mean singing badly is funny.
Yeah, okay, phew.
Oh no, Grace can't sing.
Okay, good. That's
No, but Grace thinks she's a great singer.
right.
And that's
right.
what makes
I
it
just
funny.
wanted to be clear about that.
Oh yeah. No.
yeah.
No. Grace cannot sing.
Yeah. Here's a question that I think I'm going to ask Deborah. Do you like beer?
I hate beer. I actually don't like beer. I've never liked beer. I'm a tequila girl.
Do I do the follow-up question? Have you ever blacked out from being...
Have you?
Have you? All right.
You would be really good.
Oh, you would have been really
Would
good.
have been really good on SNL.
Matt Damon was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so
Fantastic.
funny. Oh, what about Matt Damon? That was one of my favorites.
That was one of my favorites
When
also.
Matt Damon pretended to be.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that was pretty great. When Sean goes up to him and like, who's your who do you date? How many
Yeah.
gyms have you been to? Because I have to say that one of the amazing things about your show is that there is a rhythm to it. You guys, it's a symphony, and when you guys get into the same rhythm, it is spectacular.
My favorite, we do a thing where we say the same thing at the same time to each other.
love that,
It
too.
always makes, it's my favorite
It's
thing.
super
I
fun.
love that. This just says reminder premieres Thursday at 9 on NBC. That's not really a question. That's probably from the front desk.
Yes, you. This Thursday, they know.
Was it? Oh, here. This is going to be our last question, but they'll be walking out the side exit, so you can just tackle them and ask them whatever you want. How easy was it for you guys to find the chemistry the second time around?
I thought, for me, it felt very instant. We sat down at that table, because for us, the first time was that video that we did for the internet.
We had not been in the same room, the four of us, for 10 years before we did that 10-minute little video.
Yeah. Always twosomes here and there and dinners, whatever. But so for the four of us to be together again, and a lot of our crew, and to sit in the same order that we sit in to do a read-through and read that script, there was grown men like Steve Sandoval.
We're
our
crying.
producer, he was just kind of like, nothing. I am not.
No, I mean, Eric, like, instantly, he was, like, right back and effortless, and, like, you know, it was right there. I felt like it took until after the shower scene in the second episode. It was when I was able to do something physical that I felt like, oh, okay, she's back in my body. But up until then, like standing in the Oval Office, and I just remember feeling like I don't know how to stand. Like I don't know who she is 11 years later yet. And, you know, I think that made me nervous and it made me a little tight.
But didn't it help being in the apartment when you would shoot those scenes? Because that
Yeah.
was, I mean, it looks exactly the same, give or take.
That apartment is
Yeah.
like a second home.
Yeah.
I always just joke that it feels like the Enterprise to me. When I'm
Yeah.
standing in the kitchen, I'm Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
My spatula. And I'm watching the three of you in the apartment being funny, and I feel just so comfortable in that little kitchen. I just love it.
Are there crew members? I mean, I know in a hit show, not that I would know from experience, but on a hit show, you get very close to your crew. Are there certain crew members that when you're doing the show or rehearsing, you kind of look to, like, you know, Jimmy the key grip, does he kind of give you a wink? I mean, are there certain people that are almost your support system, or people you, I mean, besides Jimmy
Yes.
Burrows?
Yeah.
It's NBC policy now that key grips can't give you a wink anymore.
No,
We're careful about that,
really? A Bermuda Triangle, is that out of the question?
if you're lucky. But a lot of, like I say, a lot of our
Yes.
designers, all the same.
Yes.
A number of our camera
Producers,
guys.
I mean, I think, you know, Steve and Tim,
Yeah.
you know, when they're watching, and if I feel like, ooh, is this working or not? Like, I'll look over and they'll give me like a nod, like, no, it's good, you know.
Yeah.
Or I'll give them the eyes. I'll be like,
Yeah.
Our set decorator, Peter Gursky is his name. I didn't get to know him too well for the first couple of episodes of season 1, but he has gone on to become our best friend. He's designed the interiors of our homes in LA and in Vancouver. He's there still decorating that set. They were nominated for an Emmy for the Christmas episode.
yeah.
The apartment that Will and Grace and their 1912 characters shared was just the most extraordinary set.
So
I've
beautiful,
ever seen.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to end on the most important question. Is craft service better or worse than the first time you did the show?
Can I tell a Sandy story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
We
tell
had
it.
this wonderful woman named Sandy from Texas, and for a whole
Sandy
first
Flowers.
Sandy Flowers from Texas, in first 8 seasons, and she always had. It wasn't just this snack. I mean, it was like lunch, and it was always like barbecue and everything. It was unbelievable. The crew loved it. I went up about 8 episodes. I went to her. I said, Sandy, it's kind of like it's a gay show. Like, I need some salads and stuff. I can't eat this every day. And she said, oh, no problem. So the next day, there's a salad with this warm dressing. It was gorgeous. I said, no, that's what I'm talking about. What is that dressing? She said, oh, it's a family thing. It's just bacon fat. Yes, we have awesome craft service.
Oh, God. I love you both. I love the show. Will and Grace premieres October 9th on Thursday.